Yeah, we're good. All right. Make sure it pops up. Do.
Salutations.
If anyone's in the chat already, hello, welcome. There we go. Yeah, that's the only issue I have. Restream, if you're listening. I know your entire dev team watches this show. LOL. I just wish I could see the people that are in the event chat before we actually start the live stream. Other than that, things are aight. All right, let me turn that off. Yo.
What up? Oh, hey, guys.
Plot hole.
Continuity.
Plot hole.
4Jack's good.
Ho! I think my kid's screaming in the background.
Either that or one of mine.
That's how it goes. And there won't be background music on this live stream, so you probably will. If she does scream, we're probably going to hear it. Unlike other opportunities when you wouldn't.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
I don't see the chat.
I just brought it up.
Yeah, but I don't see anything coming through. There
Fired.
we go. Wait, how come I can't see mine, dude?
You got to click chat.
I did. I'm looking at it.
Look no further, fella.
I'm looking at the chat.
Look no.
You don't think I can see this chat?
You don't think I can ride him?
Okay, then. Alrighty, then. All right, I'll just bring it up there. Poop. Let's try it. See? It says host.
Host says poop.
Who are we today? All right, guys. It's going to happen, and I'll just keep that up on the side. That way I can see stuff.
Sounds good to me, fella.
I got no qualms about it.
Ain't got it today.
Okay, kids, let's go.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Fired.
You fired.
Just because I can't write damn books doesn't mean I'm fired.
Here.
You guys are so
How much time you got, buddy?
Hello.
Holy shit.
Come on, Titty.
Hello there.
Come on, Titty.
Found someone you have, I would say.
May the force be with us. Fucking A.
Good day, Galaxy. Rogue Squadron back at it again. I am Mopar.
I am Commander Cody.
Commander Cody.
I'm here ready to execute Order 66.
We always become Snape when we Commander Cody.
Little gentlemen.
What?
When he's doing the fucking mind reading shit on Harry Potter,
Harry
he casts Legilimens and he's just like, Legilimens, like so lazy. Did you guys just watch that, you said?
We actually are busting back through it because we got HBO Go or Max or whatever the fuck it's called.
HBO Super Plus Ultra Supreme.
Yep, Value Plus. Yeah, so obviously we've been getting through like Succession. We've talked about that. We just finished up season 2 of that. Great.
Ooh, yeah.
And then so there, the wife watched the Harry Potter special that was on HBO.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was good.
Oh, we started from episode or the first movie, and we kind of just been every other weekend per se, just kind of been walking through it. But we're already to Deathly Hallows Part 1. I think is the next one. So
Nice.
it's one of those that like first thing in the morning, if he's up and he's over the cartoons, we'll just throw on like a Harry Potter at the beginning of the day and just let it run. So
Yeah, it's like half background, half focus.
yeah.
Kind of situation. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I watched all those over Christmas break in the background while we were like, cleaning, rearranging the apartment or whatever. And then, the anniversary event on HBO was pretty cool.
I didn't
nice.
end up watching it, but that's kind of what sparked it. So spark.
You can't say spark on the podcast.
There are rules, Mopar.
There are rules. Speaking of rules, there are rules. I want to play a game. Am I the only one that thought the opening scene of Book of Boba Fett Chapter 5 was like took place inside the Saw universe?
But we'll just jump right in.
Let's fucking do it, dude.
It's one of those that it plays nicely. It plays nicely. Like, it's not out of the realm. Like, he's walking into a meatpacking plant, not because he wants to, not because it takes place because it looks like there's a backwater. I don't even know what the Clatunian was wanted for, but obviously he was a bad specimen of some type. So, but it was like back shop dealings, and that's how it felt. I'm going into this meat shop or meat packing plant, to do my job, not to show off the meat packing plant. I don't know.
I know what you mean.
It felt natural, and the entire episode, everywhere we went, even when we ended back up on Tatooine, I was like, but this just feels right. It feels good. They're showing off the right stuff. We got to see a Womp Rat, like small stuff like that. But it like, there was obvious like nods to other series.
Fan service, you might say.
A lot of stuff thrown in there, but it was in the storyline. It wasn't like, hey, we want to throw in Back to the Future kids. How are we going to make this work? No, it was like, hey, we're going to tell the story of Mandalore falling, and it's going to be bombed, and there's going to be murder and everything. Yeah. What's a good thing that fits that?
Terminator.
Oh, Terminator. Perfect. But she does that. And it's not even like, I don't want to call it sprinkling it in because it punches you in the face. But it's like, it's one of those things like the connections are already made. The story's set up, and we got to go here. What's a perfect thing to string us along? It was great.
Yeah, Daco, we did just jump right in. I know you wanted to jump right in too, so here we go, making it happen.
You're welcome.
I loved this episode. I'll say that right out of the gate before we start, picking it apart and talking about it in more detail. I did enjoy it very much. I did think that the meatpacking plant it was another moment of off-brand for me for Star Wars, but it was over very quickly. We got to the point. He starts cutting people up, and then he walks out of there with the severed head in a bag to, pay off his bounty. So I think it was like, as much as I thought it didn't feel quite right, the location, it was over quick, and I wasn't like, I don't know, I wasn't as upset about it as I was with, like you said, like the Back to the Future, homage or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to promise you guys now, I'm going to try not to refer back to the other episodes. And I know we have strong feelings about the previous
You're breaking
4
my
episodes.
promise, dude. You're breaking my heart already.
But I'm just going to try to focus on this episode 5 because I feel like it stands alone. This was the jumping off point that I wanted, personally, from the very beginning. I was hoping this level of intensity, this level of heaviness, this level of exploration for the viewer and for Mando. Well, you can fit in Boba Fett. This is what I was expecting out of a show like this, like to have consecutive episodes look like this. Because this, I mean, we get to see a fucking Halo ring, Mass Effect, Citadel, fucking craziness. We get to go places, awesome. even if you do feel off brand, which I can understand that. I was like, the meatpacking thing, it felt weird. It felt weird right off the bat, but then when I understood, we're on this like brand new, industrial ring thing that's fucking crazy. I was like, I guess it makes sense. They got to cut up meat somewhere, and if this is like a self-sustaining, I'm just like saying more of like, it's. I threw it out there like a bar on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Like, do we need to go into a bar on Coruscant and see drunks? No, but. Does that exist? Like in theory, of course it does. So we're here. There's a meatpacking plant, and of course there's a backwater underground fucking wizard in the back, cutting Clatunians. I don't know
how much magic he's doing in back there.
He's whistling,
collecting coins. No, it reminded me of Rush Hour when Tucker walks into. I can't remember. There's a scene in 1 and in 2. I think in one of them it's a pool hall, and one of them it's like a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And then all the dealings are happening in the back, and he goes back and starts whipping out his pistol, and he's like, "I need information."
Yeah, it's very like classic mob. It happens in the back. Everything happens in the back, and that's where
by the freezers, by the coolers.
There's always a freezer involved, and then headless horsemen ensue.
Headless horsemen.
Yeah, I do get it. I do get that it felt a little off-brand. I didn't, in my head, think it was off-brand, but I thought it was like a weird start, and then I was over it immediately. I was like, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, because obviously once we see the whole episode, we feel a certain way about it. But again, with all of our complaining over the past couple episodes, it starts, And I'm like, glad to see Mando, but we're in like the set of Saw 1, and I was like, what are we doing this all again? But
See, if it didn't go
it was
anywhere,
over.
Yeah, if it didn't go anywhere or lead to anything,
Exactly.
I definitely would have felt like, did they just throw that in to throw it in? But it was like, okay, he did his bounty. Clearly, he has to go weird places to do certain bounties. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, it was over very quick. So thank God.
Now, of course, this episode had so much everywhere. Every corner you looked, whether it was straight up Star Wars fan service, Star Wars history, we got to see brand new shit like the ring that we were just referring to. By the way, I know you noticed like it almost looked like a security light that was like going throughout the ring in like makeshift daytime, like you could see day and night.
I noticed that. I didn't know if it was that or if it was just the way that it was like orbiting around whatever moon or planet it might have been near.
Yeah,
like I thought maybe like the planet was like blocking the light like every.
Yeah. I just it was more of a thing that I noticed, like clearly like daylight for 20 minutes and then it goes into darkness again, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Quick day night cycle there.
Yeah. Catching that bitch. But yeah, I mean, it's like we see him do a quick bounty. He pays the dude off. By the way, that long shot of him going into the elevator, going up the elevator, cashing in on the bounty, going back to the elevator,
around the table,
going around the table. That was all like 2.5 minutes of straight one shot. And I was watching that thinking,
beautiful.
Wow, they're going there. Like, this is awesome. This is fun.
Yeah.
And I watched a YouTube video about it, and the guy was suggesting that it was almost like a loading screen. You go into the elevator and they move the set around. So when he walks back out, it's a different set.
Oh, yeah.
So it was quite literally like a physical loading screen.
That's cool.
So yeah,
it makes me like that even more.
Yeah. So the work that goes into that, but yeah, I mean, we get to see him use the Darksaber right off the bat in the meatpacking plant. He's obviously struggling with it. Go ahead.
I don't know if I would say I was surprised by that, but yes, it came out like, within the first like 2 or 3 minutes, which is awesome.
To be honest, as soon as like I understood what was going on, because the first shot showed him like the silhouette and it showed the spear, I assumed he was going to be using the spear.
I did as well. I was like, he's not ready for the Darksaber yet.
Yeah, and then when he whipped it out, I was like, oh fuck, yeah, and then he goes for it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, so let's talk about the Darksaber in particular, because I feel like there's a lot there.
There is, yeah. And I actually was hoping to rewatch this episode again before we recorded, but I did not have time. So
me neither. That's why I watched a quick YouTube video. Someone smarter than me broke it down.
Smarter with way more time.
With way more time. So the Darksaber, though, I mean, he's clearly struggling with it. Whether it's because even the armorer. Thank you. She says you're not fighting your enemies. You're fighting the saber itself. Yeah. And it was like, oh, no wonder he kind of like fucked around and hit himself during the meatpacking murder.
Juiced his leg open.
But it was like, it kind of ties back into that suggestion that was all set up in JJ and Ryan Johnson stuff, that like items can be cursed, or there's like essences attached to physical items. And that's what immediately I jumped to. I was like, this dude is fighting the weapon itself, clearly.
Right.
But it's like, maybe he's not good enough. Maybe he's not worthy. I mean,
he's fighting the whole history of the Mandalorians.
Exactly.
Like, this weight is put on this random bounty hunter from nowhere with no family, who's an orphan, and he latched onto this clan when he was a kid, and he's lived his whole life by it, and he stumbles across like the legacy weapon of Mandalore, and it's up to him to, use it, be honorable. Is he going to reunite the clans? He can go anywhere with it. So yeah, it's a heavy weight.
You know what immediately I thought, because the armor refers to like when it was forged and what the significance is, and they said the first wielder of it was a Mandalorian Jedi. Yep. And in my head I thought, well, Din Djarin at this point is neither. He's been shunned from the Mandos, and he's not a Jedi. And in my head I thought immediately, Grogu is from a certain point of view, he's about to give some fucking chainmail Beskar, and he's
Yeah.
a Jedi. And I was like, these motherfuckers are not leading to the suggestion that Grogu's going to wield
No,
the
dude.
dark saber.
The hilt is bigger than him.
I know,
Maybe
but
in,
he has the Force.
maybe in 100 years.
Maybe he grows. Maybe he does get bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, you think it's like a puppy will go from baby to almost full grown pretty quick, like in the first year,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he's going to pull one of those.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's a lot more in that. The armor just drops crazy knowledge, and then we go back and see the Great Purge with the Terminator stuff. I was like, oh my god, this.
Yeah,
is
there's a lot there.
So beautiful.
It's rare that I. Well, actually, no. I'm going to say the exact opposite of what I was thinking. I love exposition dialogue, and I know a lot of people think like, or
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
like when the armor is just like, I'm going to explain everything for 10 minutes.
Okay, I see.
So I love that kind of stuff when it's in the right setting. I know a lot of people are like, it should weave it into the story, and like the characters should kind of like, learn it with you or something. But when a character just like drops all that knowledge in a short span of time, I'm for it. Like the architect scene in Matrix 2 is like one of my favorite scenes. It's just them talking, but he like lays down the whole history of the Matrix and the One and Neo and everything else. So I love that kind of stuff. The quick flashback to the bombing of Mandalore, Siege of Mandalore, like you said,
Dude.
beautiful. The fleet of TIE bombers, fuck yeah,
Dude. In that Great Purge, which is also called the Night of 1,000 Tears. Which
it's not the Siege of Mandalore. Sorry, I misspoke.
Fucking awesome. The TIE bomber scene, beautiful. I mean, just absolute annihilation.
Love it.
And then you see the Imperial security droids acting like Terminators, the K2SOs, walking through after the blast, in the assumption that the ground is too contaminated after the bombings for actual humans to go down there. So we're going to send droids to kill off the rest of the fucking
Send a
Mandos.
droid.
Dude.
Yeah.
And then, even in the huge, so you saw that big dome blast. During that blast, there was Mando helmets in the dirt, just like skulls in the Terminator shots. I was like, dude,
beautiful.
give this woman an entire fucking trilogy. She knows what she's doing. It's one of those.
That's true. Yeah.
It's one of those things that like she just gets it. She just does. She knows when to slap us, when to dangle
Tickle
something
us.
in front of us. It's true though, and she does it all in a way that accentuates the story. She's not spoon feeding us, but at the same time she is, and we feel along with the characters. We're learning about this the Great Purge along with Din Djarin. He's no Mando from a certain point of view.
Right.
So I don't know. She just does a great job.
Yeah, there is certainly a fine line between fan service and having it get in the way. And we've talked about that. That was a big thread throughout kind of like the first half of season 2 of The Mandalorian was this is a lot of fan service and we're fans, but like, are we starting to cross that line?
Yeah.
And you're right. She does a good job of that. I was quickly going to IMDb to see I can't remember which episode of season 2 she directed. I wanted to see which one that was. But continue on. I'll look for it in the background.
What was your thought about?
It was the heiress, the one where they meet Bo-Katan.
Oh, okay.
Which I think was a good one.
Oh yeah, but that one was a little shifty though, because that's where you drop off the frog lady. That's the very beginning of it, and then he drops off Grogu. No, doesn't Grogu get thrown into that shark?
Yeah, like that Kraken thing.
Geez. Oh,
yeah,
God. That was a pretty intense episode, but it ends on that starship battle, which is really fun.
That's right, where they're trying to get out of the atmosphere,
and that's where the guy bites that thing that kills himself. The Imperial pilot,
fucking Hail Hydra style. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, she knows what she's doing. Matt says it was fan service done right. I agree. I felt like it made sense. I don't know how else to say it. I'm sure you guys felt the same way because I haven't heard too many negative things about that last one. But
I've only heard one negative thing about it.
What's that? I want to hear this actually.
I'm surprised you didn't say that first. It's not an episode of the Book of Boba Fett. It's an episode of The Mandalorian.
At this point, Am I really going to criticize that with how I feel about the previous episodes? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Give me good Star Wars at this point. I feel bad saying that, but I was very pleasantly I mean, I was surprised because there was no Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett. But yeah, I felt like it was an episode 5 thing where it was kind of thrown in there. It's just meant to shake things up a little bit. And then we'll get back to the main story here. And go ahead.
I'm cool with that. I guess when the fact that Boba came back in Mando and then the post-credit scene is when they introduced the idea of his own show, I kind of assumed that these threads were going to run together anyways. Mando, Book of Boba Fett, Rangers of the New Republic, and I think there's one other one, Ahsoka, yeah. Like, they're all taking place at the same time. I know there's going to be crossover. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised to not see anyone from the main storyline until, like, the last 2 minutes. But, again, what we had in the first 4 episodes, this episode was so good, and I know we're all, like, waiting impatiently for season 3 of Mando anyways. Like, it was, hey, man, I got no complaints. Let's do it. He fucking said wizard. Like, let's do it.
The fucking Mando said wizard.
That's so amazing.
You know, and of course I'm biased. You know, the fan service they did give us was right up my fucking alley.
Episode 1, baby.
Episode 1, it was all in the feels. But yeah, you know, maybe I'm giving it a pass, you know, with my previous criticism, but it's like my previous criticisms was about the Crate Dragon episode, which, you know, we get Crate Dragon pulled from KOTOR, which I should be fucking hyped about.
Right.
We get episode 1, Anakin Pod Racer. We get R4, which with the burnt motivator. Like, there was a lot of stuff in there that I just didn't feel right about. Which I do feel right about this. I don't know what the difference is. The usage, the way it's used.
Possibly. I really do think this stark comparison of the past 4 episodes to this one definitely does play a role, I think.
Just because everything else we felt a certain way about, then we get hit with this, and it's like,
right.
Dude, it's coming from me at every angle.
Right, like it is a great episode, but it's like maybe seems 10 times greater than it actually is because of what we're thinking of. You know, what I mean?
It's the comparison. We'll put a dog shit episode next to a real. No, I hear, but
not to say they did it on purpose, but yes, that's what I'm talking about.
You know what I just thought about, which I'm sure everybody else has thought about, but the fact that we're gonna see a Nubian next to Slave One, and they're going to be on the same fucking team.
Yeah.
The Starfighter.
Yeah.
Dude, they're going to take over the fucking galaxy with those 2 ships.
Dude, they could do a lot, man. Fennec needs her own ship, too. They can start building a little mini fleet.
You know, that low-key had come across my mind, like, she's supposed to be a fucking savage. And even in the previous 4 episodes, we've had great criticism about Boba Fett and what he's been doing. Understandably, I know he's been a back to tank and all that. But Fennec, I feel like she should have her own shit. She should have her own ship. She should have, like, people fearing her. She should be known as well. I mean, she went toe-to-toe with Cad Bane.
Yeah. I think she is, like, in certain... Like, people that know bounty hunters obviously know who she is.
True, yeah.
Like, Kirsan and Boba know.
I just kind of wanted more recognition for her because, you know, she's clearly a fucking badass.
Oh, yeah. She's a savage.
What do I got here in my goddams?
Oh, I want to see your podcast points, dude.
No, you don't. There's a lot of good... I have Wizard...
It's just all happiness.
It's just... I have Wizard in all caps.
That's all we need to talk about.
I'm not even joking. I have Wizard in all caps. You know, of course, we get the mechanic lady. Like her or hate her.
Like her.
You know...
I'm sorry. I never did, and she was featured so much in this one. I was just like, okay, yes, I get it. You bang Jawas. It's fine. Let's go.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually okay with it. The Book of Boba Fett as a whole has not had any...
comic relief?
Yeah, comic relief. It really hasn't had that back and forth, like, ebb and flow of anything. It's just kind of been dragging dragging through the sand. That's how it's felt. So I completely understand.
Dragging through the sand.
I completely understand you not liking her, but it was kind of like a breath of fresh air from, you know, a character we dislike.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I thought it was fine. She does talk too much. So it's that C-3PO effect. Like, I get
Yes.
it. I get
Right.
it. Just shut the fuck up. You know.
But he's programmed to do that, and she just won't shut up.
Yeah. Banging Jawa was very furry. Very
It
furry.
it didn't seem forced, at least. Like
Yeah.
he said he's going back to Tatooine, and first we're like, oh yeah, obviously Fennec must be hiring him for a job. But then you realize he's going to Mos Eisley, and he's hired Peli to build him a new ship or find him like a replacement or something like that.
Yeah.
That
and
totally tracks.
Yeah, and it tracks also like it's a safe space for him. Like he can go there and be like, okay, I know she's gonna take care of me.
Yep.
Whatever take care of me means, whether it gets
Maybe a
means
little
gets
hand
me
job on the side.
a little
It's like,
angry handy in the stand.
You never know, man. She can cook me a nice home cooked meal.
A
Mos
little
Eisley
less-
pasta.
yeah. I don't have to take my helmet off for that. I can still be a Mando and get a hand job. Yeah, I just I get it. I get it. And he's coming around to droids. Did you see him thank the BD unit?
How about the BD unit?
Hey, I tell you what. It's that fan service again that I just felt
That was wonderful.
it made sense. It made sense, guys. I don't know what that means in my fucking stupid brain, but it just
Neither do I.
you know, I know what's her name. What's the mechanic's name?
Peli.
Peli. I know Peli just works alone, and she's got the pit droid. She's got the gonk droid walking around. And when the BD unit showed up, I thought she came across a BD unit and thought it would be useful. I think that makes fucking sense. And then in my fucking nerd brain, I was like, a fucking BD unit? This is awesome. It hits two strings at the same time. We're playing chords now. This is fucking great shit.
What a symphony you got going on. Yeah, man, it was great. I do want to know what is going on in your brain when you think Mando season 2 episode 1. There's a speeder built out of Anakin's pod race engine. Anakin pod racing episode 1. Can you think of any reason why like you scoffed at that at first, but you wanted the BD? You're like all gung ho about the BD unit.
I don't know. I just felt like it was too much, too quick. And you know what? It was immediate. I mean, we're going after Boba Fett's armor, so we're already like kicked in the face. We know what's. We're already in that mindset.
Sure.
And then it's like, it would have been enough in my head to have a pod racer engine. In my head, the issue was that it was they had to put Anakin's pod racer in there, and I was like, you know.
Right, like if it was the actual BD1 from Cal Kestis, it would.
That's how it would feel.
Yeah,
exactly. You
Right,
hit it right on the head. Yeah, because if it was the BD unit, I would have been
Right.
pissed.
So if they had thrown like Gascano's pod race engine
Yeah, why-
onto a thing,
Dude, that would have been such a nice touch.
Yeah.
It was just a little too close to the chest, I feel. It was like, of course it's Anakin's. And it you know why? Because they put Anakin's pod racer in there for the viewers and not for the Star Wars universe. It felt like they were smacking us in the face and not feeding us food.
yeah. Kigo just said it's not the same N1 starship that
Yeah.
Anakin stole. So that would have been the same thing. If somehow it was like they found out in like the flight records that this is the one that Anakin stole and like shut down the Trade Federation with, and it made its way to Tatooine.
Yep. I don't know what the in my mind something clicks when it's like, that's too much. You're doing it too hard. Slow down on the handy.
You're just mashing it now. Come on.
You're not mining for fucking conundrum, you know.
Conundrum.
I don't know what the fuck.
Corundum. I've never been able to pronounce that word.
Yeah,
I'm calling next time I play Skyrim. I'm calling that shit conundrum ingots.
Quandary ingots.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. Yeah, I think it's just the fact. Yeah, it's just too much. It's just too much. But the BD, yeah, you're right. As soon as I saw the BD unit, I was like, fucking click in my mind. Perfect. I love it.
What do you think an N1 starfighter is doing on Tatooine?
Doesn't matter.
I'm just curious.
That's the nice thing. That's the nice thing. If it was Anakin's, the one that he flew, now there has to be a fucking comic book series explaining how Anakin's fucking starfighter ended up on Tatooine. The fact that it's just a starfighter is a nice touch, and we can move on. You know, it's
They
Don't
could have
do
done that
too
with.
much.
It could have been one of the ARC 170s, the N1, like one of the clone ships.
It could have been
Jedi
anything.
Starfighter, something like that.
It could have been anything, and it was an extremely nice touch that it was Nubian. Obviously, we've been on Tatooine talking about Nubian vessels, so
Nubian, eh?
there's some which way,
Yeah.
Nubians had a lot of money. They're probably worth a lot of money, but when they get trashed, that's the one that you want to keep on to. That's the
She
old
must.
Mopar.
She must like episode 1, man.
I know, she's
How
got
old
pit-
is
pit
the
droids.
Smoke Show? 1981. Yeah. So she was 18 when Phantom Menace came out. I don't know. Wasn't Ron Howard supposed to direct Phantom Menace back in the day?
Oh, I didn't.
Like
I
I
don't know.
think originally Lucas wanted different directors, and I think he was on the list. I think Tommy Boy told me that. I can't remember.
I have a random fact that I didn't realize. I was watching that YouTube video, and they said that the larger Mando's rival, the bigger Mando guy,
Yeah, Paz Vizsla.
is played by Jon Favreau.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
I didn't fucking know
I
that
didn't
either.
catch his voice.
Yeah, I was watching that YouTube video, and I just looked at if I had a mirror, I would have looked at myself like, why the fuck didn't you know that? Like, the guy just
Well, you don't
tossed it
recognize his
off.
voice.
Right? Yeah, I didn't know it was Jon Favreau. I did not, and then now that I know, I'm gonna be fucking looking at him differently.
Well, was it also in the season 1 of Mando? Was it him
Yep.
too? Yeah. Nice. Well, good job, John.
good job.
That's the dream for. I mean, I don't think I'll ever be in a position where I'm creating like movies or TV, but like if I were, the dream for me would be like producing and being able to create, and then like little cameos like he has, like Rio in Solo.
Yeah. So Matt's saying it was voiced by Jon Favreau, not acted by. So maybe I am
okay.
incorrect. So
Yeah, he's not quite as jacked as he used to be.
I was looking
John.
at the guy, and the armor it's pushing its limits. I mean, whoever's playing him is a bigger guy.
Oh yeah, he's jacked. But yeah. You
Let's-
seen
let's-
Spider-Man yet? Quick side note.
No, they haven't released. I've bought it. I've
Oh, that's right.
pre-sale.
You're waiting for the whole.
I'm waiting for it to,
viewing
yeah.
experience. Got it.
Let's go back to
Mando stuff.
the spear. The
Yeah.
spear being crafted for possibly chainmail armor for a little fucking Grogu. What the fuck?
Well, let's go back a step further because the armor explains that like Beskar is not supposed to be used as weapons, which I thought was very interesting. She
It's
said
not-
like Beskar is not intended to be weaponry; it's supposed to be made for armor, which I found crazy.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get some crazy shit happening. My prediction at the end of Boba Fett, well, maybe we'll just push it to Mando season 3,
Yeah,
is we are gonna understand or come across that the Great Purge was because of Thrawn. That's my 2 cents that I'm tossing in there, because that Beskar steel spear came from that devil woman that Ahsoka
Ahsoka's
fought,
fighting right.
who is directly reports to Thrawn, and I
Mhm.
thought maybe Thrawn had it at one point, who got involved with the Mandos and actually ordered for the Great Purge to happen. He probably saw him as a threat, so he's like, "Fuck him, we need to get rid of them and not have to worry about these fuckers."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now Kigo chimes in and says the whistling birds are made from Beskar, so the armor is a liar. Armor just broke continuity. Armor, fuckers.
I no longer like this episode, this podcast episode, and the Book of Mando. The Book of Mando.
Yeah. It is an interesting thing for them to throw in, though. Like, put aside like if there's like a plot hole or like a contradiction, but the idea that it's such a sacred, it's like the sacred metal, of Mandalore, and so it's supposed to be used like in a particular way. That's what they all make their armor out of. It's not for attack; it's for defense. I think that's kind of nice.
Yeah, the YouTube video I was watching was also referring to how the armorer might have exaggerated what happened on Mandalore because she wants to make Bo-Katan look bad. She basically blamed Bo-Katan for the fall of everything because she took the Darksaber willingly from a fucking friend. And you're like, did you just blame your entire collapse of the civilization because some woman got a sword? Like, that's what you're really trying to say? So I felt like those flashbacks, or at least the historical bombings and all that we saw, might have been exaggerations of the armorer.
But that is part of it. Like whether Bo-Katan like literally caused that, I think, is one thing that we can argue, and I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah.
But just the mere fact that the Mandalorians had, over the course of time, started to kind of splinter off. Then you have like extremists, and then you have like the politicians and whatnot. And because she didn't win it in combat, that's kind of like you look back on that moment, and that's like the linchpin, not the linchpin. What's the word I'm looking for?
Cataclysm.
That's like the tipping point or whatever for this entire thing happening, right? Whether it's actually Bo-Katan's fault is another matter.
Well, they're all going to be pointing fingers. I mean, the fall of a society, everybody's going to be like, well, that wasn't because of me. Well,
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
You know, I think
so excited for these. I'm so excited for this storyline in Mando season 3.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. I'm more excited for this now than I am for like the last two. Like the last 2 episodes of Boba Fett, I'm not excited for it. I'm obviously gonna watch it. What are you doing over there, dog? Quiet down.
But you're right. It's the seeds are planted for the big the retaking of Mandalore. Which is I think more in Din Djarin's.
Definitely, and I think Boba Fett will probably join up and help him out. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But those excited seeds are not a part of this next 2 episodes.
Unfortunately, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So let's see what they bring us. At the same time, you go back to first season of. Well, actually, no. Never mind. I'll
We've
I'll
only
come
got
back
2
to
more
that
episodes,
later.
right?
I'll come back to what I was going to say. But yeah, so moving ahead to the next stuff of Mando, there's like 2 big items. One is all the Mandalorians. Are they going to reunite? Are they going to fight with each other? Are they going to take Mandalore? And then 2 is Mando going to go visit baby Grogu?
Yeah.
And give him his little chainmail. And are we going to see Luke? Are we going to see other students? Are we going to see 3-year-old Kylo Ren? Is Grogu going to have a lightsaber?
Dude.
Like there's so much possibility there.
You know, what I was thinking is when he was on that commercial shuttle going to Tatooine, and that little Rodian waved his
so cute
claw, or whatever you want to call it, his
3-fingered claw.
his wiggles, and then he looked down at that little handkerchief of chainmail that was made, and it was like literally in the shape of Grogu's head, and I was like,
oh yeah.
You know, I was trying to get into Mando's mind, and I think Mando feels like he might have made a mistake, like in letting the kid go. You know, because he was, you know, I know his parents saved him, but he grew up without parents. Yep.
Yeah, dude. I think
didn't have
he did
parents.
make a mistake.
Yep.
Did he have parents? At some point, Mando is going to take Grogu away from the academy before Kylo Ren destroys it all.
Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah.
And
Either
Grogu
that or
obviously
he
will live on after the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I felt when he was looking down at that handkerchief or whatever it is, and the kid. Yeah, I just. Oh, the other thing, to jump back to the Naboo Starfighter, the droid pit or the seat was taken out immediately. I thought that's a great spot for, I don't know, fucking Grogu.
100%. He's got to get a little flight vest in there, a little.
He's got chainmail. He's ready
true.
to go.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, dude. You could survive a crash at light speed with Beskar chainmail on.
Also, how fucking cool. Well, we'll just keep going along this fucking Naboo Starfighter stuff, because there's a lot there. So we see him go through Beggar's Canyon. We see him go through the entire fucking
pod race course.
We see the safety ramp or whatever Anakin bus, and the shit's still laying there,
still broken.
And then he goes up, and then he sees the commercial ship again, nods to the kid,
right,
and then the X-wings come in.
And he does. Don't forget, he does a little pass over the ship, like Anakin does over the Trade Federation.
Oh,
thing.
I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, he does a little spin up there. Yeah.
What was your thoughts that the X-wings were so surprised when he fucking took off?
That was fucking awesome. Yeah. I was wondering. Yeah, actually, all right. So going back to the engine thing really quick, I love that it looked like there was like a fucking big block with a carburetor sticking out of like the Starfighter. That was cool. Yeah. But yeah, when she kept talking about the engine and like the special modifications or whatever, I was like, yeah, what's he gonna do with it? And then he took off like fucking Nos and Fast and the Furious. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, also, did you see that lunar wane shaft or whatever the fuck they pulled out, the stick that was in the trash compactor?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fan service, baby.
That was a nice one because
I didn't notice it until I watched the one of the YouTube reactions.
Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna say I knew it, but as soon as I saw it, my mind, something went off. I just didn't know what.
Yeah.
I was like, something here's familiar, and then I watched. I was like, fuck, no wonder.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that going through the fucking pod race course, the track, I was like,
That was nice.
you know, I was even asking myself again. I was like, why am I okay with this this fan service? Because I know I've been I've been critical of all that, and then we're like on the fucking course again in a Nubian, all from episode 1.
Mhm.
But I was just like, I'm having fun. I'm smiling through this instead of criticizing it. What's the difference?
You're
I don't
happy
know.
that there's, a solid episode
Well, it's like,
with threads that you've been waiting to hear about,
threads.
things that you didn't expect a whole episode about Mando. We knew he was going to show up, but like we didn't know it was going to be a whole thing. So, your
it's
fucking serotonin is through the roof.
Well, it is, and we're learning brand new things. We get to see the Halo ring, fucking brand new. We're in a
Right.
meatpacking plant, which like it or love it, it's brand new. You're like, oh, I'm learning. Like this, okay, this makes sense. This is fun. We learn about the history of Mandalorians. We go back in a flashback and see some crazy shit. I'm on a fucking high, and then we go back to familiar territory on Tatooine, and there's just sprinkles of familiar stuff. We see the shaft thing, and it's like, fuck, and then a Nubian starfighter and BD, and I'm like, oh, okay. Now that I've already I've learned more about Mando culture. I know that Mando's now been kicked out of the Mandalorians. I know that there's chainmail that he has for fucking Grogu. I mean, they threw so much at us that I was so okay with wherever we went. We could go back there. We could go through the fucking pod racing course, and I would be all right with it because
Sure.
they already gave me shit. I don't know.
Right.
Go ahead.
You think, it's like, well, Luke says in episode 8, you think it's just like balance, Like
Yeah.
things are in balance. So it's like enough brand new stuff, enough exposition, enough fan service, enough comedic relief, comic relief or whatever. You got to get the formula right, man. You got to get those fucking calculations just right.
Talking about the armor again, I thought there was a nice tongue-in-cheek quote that she threw out there.
Oh, yeah?
She talks about the mythosaur to Din.
Oh, yeah.
She says, the mythosaur only exists in Legends now. And in my head, I was like, you sneaky bitch.
Yep.
In Legends, in Disney Legends, in
Oh,
Star
yeah.
Wars, and then in Mandalorian Legends, I was like,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Do you think she's wrong? Because when Boba gets the Rancor, he says, I've ridden beasts like 10 times this size before.
Why in my head am I thinking that he has, or are we referring to the Lapras that he rode in the holiday special?
Oh, yeah. That's probably true.
Yeah.
I mean, but he does have a mythosaur on that's his sigil. You know what I
True.
mean? Mando has the Mudhorn, Boba has the whatever you call it.
But isn't that's a Mandalorian sigil? That's not a Boba Fett sigil,
Okay, yeah, that's probably right.
which is weird.
Yeah, you're right. He has the Jester Muriel insignia thing. Okay, got it. My bad.
Oh man,
Too much thing, man. Too much to keep track of. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as she said it only exists in Legends, I just thought, I love it. It's so that's so good. Yeah, it went so many places, brand new, familiar and brand new. I mean, the Nubian starfighter, but taking off the yellow paint
Yep.
and souping it up and making it different,
It's chrome. It matches his armor.
dude.
There's a lot of good there. There's a lot of good there, man. It's a fucking hot rod NS1. It's sweet.
And how did you feel about how Fennec just came in and was just like, "Hey, Boba Fett wants to hire you," and he's like, "Fucking do it for free, bitch. Let's do this shit."
Well, he owes him. I
True.
thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Again, I wish there would have been a little more. Every time they ended a scene and they were about to cut, I kept thinking they were going to cut back to Boba Fett and have a scene with Boba Fett talking about his plans while the Pikes are about to invade or whatever, and then go back to Mando and just kind of bounce back and forth all episode. And they just kept staying with Mando the whole time. I just wasn't expecting that. But
Yeah.
a little more, I think, tying into what's actually going on. Boba's like, we need some extra muscle. We know there's a storm brewing. We know the Pikes are involved. The mayor's missing. We don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Is
So,
the
I
mayor
don't know.
missing?
Well, he's not like lost. He escaped. He's with the Pikes. That's what they learned at the end of the 5 mile an hour chase scene.
Oh,
The dude.
I blacked out.
Dude.
After that,
I totally browned out during that
Browned
episode.
out. In my head, after the Starfighter montage with the Nubian, I kind of in my head was just like, oh yeah, what would be fun is if Boba Fett jetpacked into the arena, landed and like made eye contact with Mando and was like, hey, this is what's going down. Let's fucking do this,
dude.
I mean, you're not wrong. I did have the same feeling, but they gave us so much in that episode. I was like,
right, exactly. You got to temper it. I think that's a lot. I'm seeing just barely browsing like the subreddit and whatnot. A lot of people just complaining that like, oh, it's just an episode of Mando. I don't have that same complaint. I like the side mission. I'm cool with that, or like the intermission, the hiatus, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I wish there was, I don't know, 5 more minutes of Boba Fett and Fennec stuff to kind of tie us into like why they want Mando. That would have been nice. The issue is just that our best episode of the Book of Boba Fett is all about the Mando. And here's the trick. I don't know exactly why that is. And it's certainly not to say that like Boba Fett himself is going nowhere, or like I don't like the character anymore, or like his storyline. I just think they haven't showcased what he has to offer in the show as good as they could have.
Yeah.
I think where he's headed, wanting to be the mob boss and rule with respect, etc. I think that's all great stuff. They just haven't presented it as well as they did, like with Mando. Now, granted, we care
more about Mando's story at this point. That's simply put. That's where I'm at.
We have 2 seasons of Mando to go off of.
Yeah.
In just recent memory.
Yeah.
Whereas Boba Fett has just been Sarlacc pit. It was like dead stop basically since 1983 kind of until now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So Mando's maybe a little more fresh in our mind. He has the attachment to Grogu, which we're, always sentimental for.
I know we talk shit about when stuff's too tied in, but Mando does have dealings with Jedi. Mando does have dealings with Mandalorians. He does have dealings with bounty hunters. Like, he just has so many connections and so many places that he could go, where I feel like Boba Fett, loosely, has had dealings with all that. But in the storyline that they've given us, it's like Hutts, which of course, okay, we're on Tatooine, and the Pikes are the obvious 2 big ones. Mm-hmm. But like, man, where can we go? I don't know yet. It's more up in the air still. Where Din Djarin from the very beginning, we get Grogu, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah, we've said that. That's kind of the missing thread there for Boba.
What are you expecting, man? Are we just we're gonna see Din Djarin walk into the fucking palace and we're gonna go at it? I mean, how fun is that?
Well, I think they'll do the typical double finale, where like the big end, whatever conflict is in 2 episodes. It's going to be spread over to 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to happen. I honestly don't know. That's why I went back to complain about, Fennec in this recent episode, is that and maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I guess going through Mando season 1, you knew that the Imperials were shady, and you knew that Moff Gideon hadn't showed up yet. So like there's this looming threat.
Yeah.
And you're kind of waiting to see like, why is he after Mando? What's the connection? So we're kind of waiting for that the whole time. This, like, I know the Pikes are involved, but like I'm not worried about Boba. I'm just like kind of waiting. I don't know. Maybe that's harsh to say.
You know what it is though? You were almost there. When you have something though. It's when you say, hey, we got in a fucking tussle with the Imperials. In our head, we already know what the Imperials are capable of and what they've done. When we say, hey, the Pikes, fuck, they're out for us. I'm like,
we've only seen them like twice, right?
What kind of threat does that even mean? I have no idea yet. And of course, it could unfold right in front of our eyes in the next couple episodes. But as of right now, my mind doesn't go anywhere. The Pikes are involved. I'm like, okay, Solo, a little bit. Like, I don't.
And little Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah, it's more unknown. Even with the Hutts, to be honest, I know they're
left.
supposed to be ruthless, but then they give him a fucking present and leave. I'm like, what happens? I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited. I am on the same page as you.
More
I'm
excited for Mando.
I'm excited to see what happens to Mando.
Yeah.
And why this thing's called the fucking Book of Boba Fett. Is it just literally a title?
Maybe he's archiving all of his stories like Bilbo Baggins. There and back again, a Boba Fett story.
What? Yeah,
Mandalorian's journey. Yeah.
What if at the end of episode 7 of Book of Boba Fett, you see Boba Fett as an old man close a book and he's talking to some old.
That's what I'm talking about. Do you think we're gonna get a second season? I guess we don't know until we see how these last 2 episodes play out. Well, because I was just thinking like, I'm glad I remember this because I thought about it like in our last thread before you moved on. I didn't want to forget. Hey, dog, quiet down. Din Djarin is Jon Snow. He's not. Yeah. He's kind of an orphan, but is he really?
He
doesn't know where he's from.
Know his own importance. Yeah,
doesn't know his own importance. He's really skilled. I think he has honor and integrity. He likes to do the right thing, even though he is a bounty hunter. Like he gets the job done, but at the end of the day, I think he does the right thing. I think Grogu changed him even more.
Yeah.
To that. And the perfect person to inherit a position of power is someone that doesn't want it and has, all the right like character traits to do that. So I think we're leading to Din Djarin being the Mandalore and helping reunite the different clans. I don't know if that will happen season 3. Maybe it's season 4 because it's a big storyline there.
There's so much weight in that storyline, and that's what I haven't felt with the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. Now, of course, maybe season 3 is just called The Mandalorians. Because now we have Boba Fett and Din and Bo-Katan, and we're all getting in the fucking spaceships, and we're gonna go fucking take what's left of Mandalore?
I have no idea.
From the looks of it,
right?
There's more on Jakku.
Right.
The last thing while I have Mandalore on the mind, the armor also talked about how to basically join back into the Mandos. How to
they kicked him out.
They kicked him out, and he's like, "Well, how do I atone for my sins?" And she's like, "Well, you got to go drink the water underneath the mines of Mandalore," or some shit. But the living waters is what she says. The living waters beneath the mines of Mandalore. And the YouTube video I watched mentioned like maybe that's the reason the Beskar is so strong, because the waters are special on Mandalore, or at least were special. And now that it's all poisoned and gone, that's why Beskar is so rare.
Oh yeah.
It's all it's weird. Like I like that it's not. The only way I can say this is like man-made. It's a natural occurrence on Mandalore, which makes the metal special. And I thought, what a nice touch to throw out there that it's not people or aliens or technology doing this. Right. It's a natural occurrence that just makes some special shit. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I find it interesting that the most warrior-like of all of like the Star Wars cultures also has a lot of this like fantasy element to its backstory.
Yeah.
Like it does seem very like medieval. They're like knights basically, like they're supposed to live by a code of chivalry. And then they have this, mythical beast, the mythosaur. And then they have this weird element that makes them super strong armor and whatnot. But they are like high tech armor, savage, like bounty hunters for the most part. So it's a cool like dichotomy.
You're right.
That's why I said it.
Yeah, it's somewhere between like Hercules and like all the beasts that
Hercules.
And medieval knights, like you said. It's somewhere like just a blend of those.
Yeah. Where I was going with the Din Djarin taking over as Mandalore thing was, I think Boba Fett's story ends by like sacrificing himself, having some strong connection to Jango Fett for some reason, and like basically helping Din by like, letting himself die. And then Din takes over. Boba Fett's a nice guy now. He's connected with his bloodline, the spirit of Jango Fett, whatever. And then he's dead and Mandalore takes over.
Hey, let me toss this out here. Because I
Dave
know
Filoni's listening.
Yeah. You know, maybe the history of the Mandos is so obscured and so incorrect at this point. The whole idea of you have to like kill someone to wield the dark saber and all this shit. What if that's all trash? And the Mandos have been wrong about the dark saber particularly, and something happens where Din loses the dark saber and Boba Fett picks it up and is wielding it like a fucking boss. Now the Mandos are starting to question themselves because Din and Boba are still alive, so it wasn't one throughout battle. Is there some type of bloodline right that Boba Fett's tied to, which would bring Boba Fett real quick deep into the Mandalore discussion?
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that would just all of a sudden open some doors to maybe Boba Fett is way important. The way we want Din Djarin to be. You know what I'm
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like where in Harry Potter, it's not necessarily based on bloodline, but it's like, well, actually, yeah, it's a similar thing with the Darksaber where the Elder Wand only responds to the person. Like you kill someone with the Elder Wand, you get it, and it won't respond to anybody else. That's why it doesn't work for Voldemort. It works for Snape because he killed Dumbledore. Spoiler alert. So maybe something in Jango's past, like I don't know, maybe Jango was involved in some of this like Mandalorian bloodline stuff, and it's been waiting for Boba Fett to like pick up the mantle.
Dude, what if Jango was the wielder of it rightfully, and it was stolen from him, and somehow ended up in the hands of Thrawn, and it's just been fighting every person who's had it ever since then until it gets back into Boba Fett's hands, and which is literally a clone of Jango, so that the sword probably wouldn't know any fucking difference. It'd be like, oh shit, you're old as shit.
Right. Yeah, someone with more Clone Wars knowledge would have to chime in. I think that's the first time we encounter it. So it's
in Clone Wars.
It's possible, obviously, that like, Jango, what was he, 40, 50? He could have had, a run-in with it before he actually gets to, become the donor of the clones.
Matt asks, did Sabine in Rebels wield it easily? And the answer is yes. And I'm not saying that from my own memory. That was referred to in the video I watched. She was training with Kanan.
Oh, yeah, with Kanan, yep.
And she was wielding it quite easily. Yeah.
Well, maybe she's a little more tuned in, though, to the culture, Din's, like, totally outcast.
I mean, Din is a bastard. Literally. He's a bastard, and he wasn't even supposed to be a Mandalorian.
That's true. He's not, I guess by blood, he's not even a Mandalorian.
No.
Right.
What if...
Jon Snow, baby.
What if he has Jedi blood?
Oh!
No joke. What if his parents were...
Did he have...
What if... I mean, there could be some random bloodline stuff that makes him something else.
Would that annoy you, fan service wise, the same way Finn is a Jedi or Force sensitive, or whatever?
The Force sensitive stuff with Finn never bothered me.
Oh, okay, good. I thought it did.
Yeah, no, it never really bothered me. I thought it actually made sense that like everybody's Force sensitive to a certain degree, and if you listen hard enough,
yeah.
I mean, of course, some people are going to be more naturally gifted. And the best of the best would be, but it's like, I don't know. Everybody can play basketball, but no one plays basketball like LeBron James. So everybody can use the Force. If you practice hard enough, you might get pretty good.
Right.
But only the best of the best become Jedi. And that's what I feel like Finn has listened to himself and done the right things, that the Force is kind of, sprinkling little, it's a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm trying. Well, now you're getting my mind racing. I'm trying to think if we've seen anything subtle from Din that would you be able, like, say season 4 is like, oh yeah, Din, you're actually Force sensitive. He goes and sees Luke, and Luke's like, oh, I have a feeling about you. I sensed you coming. And then something in one little act in season 1 was like, oh yeah, like that was supposed to be like the subtle hint that he actually is Force sensitive.
Well, my thoughts go to the connection he had with Grogu.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's just kind of
talking
to the inanimate little baby. Not inanimate. What's the word? When you can't speak, you can't talk yet.
Inaudible.
I don't know. I need a dictionary.
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
That one's a far stretch, but I think him. Let's actually talk about potential like season 3, season 4 of Mando, because last year I was going on and on about how maybe my most anticipated thing that Disney could do is like something with Luke and his academy between episode 6 and 7. So it's possible that we could see a little bit of that. I don't know if they would spin it off to its own show like they're doing with like Ahsoka and all these other ones, but it's possible that we could just get a glimpse, a scene, or like one episode with Luke training young Jedi.
I mean, it's not far-fetched in my mind to think that Din goes back, visits Grogu, mentions to Luke what the fuck's going on, and at that point, the Mandalorians are getting back together and considering like retaking Mandalore, and the Jedi getting involved.
Interesting.
I mean,
like to stop them or to help them?
No, to help them.
Interesting.
Because they have common enemies.
There is no big enemy at that point, though.
Thrawn.
No one knows about.
Thrawn
Oh
is the
yeah,
enemy.
I guess by that point, yeah, Thrawn.
Who Ahsoka is hunting. We're getting fucking somewhere. What
And
if?
then
Dude,
we
I am rock hard thinking about Ahsoka having discussions with Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah, dude.
Dude, that's it. That's what I would if they put that
Joygasm.
somehow. Yeah, it's fucking. That's it, man.
Well, and then now you get the whole flip a legend story into canon with like the original Heir to the Empire trilogy. So now it still takes place between 6 and 7. Admiral Thrawn is the threat. I hope they don't throw in that fucking weird Grandpa Jedi at some point. But, Grand Admiral Pelion and people could, come into the mix. Yeah, they could recanonize all that stuff in a better way. So it's not 1980.
But like
1990.
It's what 25, 30 years of between the Imperials and the First Order.
Yeah, I think there's a 30-year gap between 6 and 7.
What a great way to call back and be like, you know what? We've already name dropped Thrawn. Anybody who knows anything about Thrawn knows that that's a fucking big deal.
Right.
What a great enemy to put in between the Imperials and the First Order, and what a great opportunity to throw in some serious shit with the Mandalorians trying to do their thing again and have a fucking crazy enemy involved. In between them trying to Snoke a clone and clone the all of them.
It'd be cool to get more backstory on that in the meantime.
I'm telling you right now, that could be easily my favorite thing ever.
Dude,
I'm saying it right now. If we see Mandalorian wars with Thrawn involved,
oh yeah,
I'm a big critic of Thrawn, but if they do it right, that could be it.
Yeah, I'm not a critic of the character so much as I am of the just those older books.
Yeah, those. Yeah,
yeah, man. There's a lot of territory to explore, and I think it would behoove Disney and Lucasfilm to basically focus all of their original series programming around this entire thing. Like, let's do Kenobi and have fun. Let's do Andor and get it out of the way because you guys promised that. But like now that some of these things have started to unfold with Mandalorian, they should really spend all 3 different shows every year that are all interweaving in this time between episode 6 and 7. Let's cast a young Kylo. Let's cast a young Luke. You can bring Andy Serkis back to do the mocap to be a younger-ish Snoke who's trying to seduce like teenage Kylo Ren. You could do anything.
Yeah.
You could do anything.
I mean,
notice how we haven't got this excited about fan theories in the first 4 episodes of the show.
Hey,
I hate to bring it up again. I'm just saying, like, this is the kind of stuff that, like, you want to balance the fan service with the new storytelling. I want character development. I want plot. And I want just enough breadcrumbs that we can go on a rant about the next 7 years of Star Wars.
Dude, with 45 minutes or whatever that she took, what? We could be sitting here and the next
I got to go watch it again.
Yeah.
I got to go watch it again.
We're
about 36 hours away from the next one, too.
What if...
I'm telling you, man, young Luke Skywalker, young Kylo Ren, not recast Snoke, bring back Andy Serkis as a mocap Snoke. You could flesh out the Knights of Ren. You could do all the stuff from that comic book storyline in live action.
If they're doing it, there's no way they're not doing something with Thrawn. They would not name drop Thrawn.
Definitely that, yeah.
So if that's happening, and we already know the First Order happens, some serious shit goes down. And I have to believe that Luke Skywalker is involved if Thrawn is the enemy. And they are going to be so evenly matched, and it's going to make both characters look fucking great because they're like equal opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I mean, the broken Jedi we see in Episode 8, we could see very quickly why. I mean, I know his Jedi Academy burned down and all that, and that's obviously going to be like a big...
I know some of the students died, but whatever.
But, I mean, he could be put in his place like he was never before if he goes toe-to-toe with Thrawn.
I'm trying to think of an example, because something just popped in my head based on what you said. So, like, and I know this has happened in movies and shows. I'm just blanking on, like, a specific example right now. But you have the leader, and he starts making decisions, and all of his students think he's making the wrong decisions, but he knows in the back of his mind, like, I have to do what's right. I have to do this. Even though everyone disagrees with me, I have to fucking do it anyways. And some of them might turn on me as a cause, but I have to, like, I have to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So, like, Thrawn's taking over, and part of the downfall of Luke's academy is that we're not supposed to take, they think based on the Jedi teachings, we're not supposed to take part in this or that. And Luke is trying to, combat Thrawn and make sure he doesn't take over the galaxy. And then Kylo maybe disagrees. Some of the students disagree or something. And like that would lead to the downfall of the academy other than just, he read Kylo's mind. And
you know what story you just told?
And everything.
Hey, you know what story you just told?
What?
KOTOR.
Okay.
Revan leaves the order because they're like, we can't get involved, and Revan's like, fuck, I have a lightsaber, I can get involved real fucking quick. And Malik is pissed too. We can actually make a change in the universe,
right?
In the galaxy. Copy and paste that to what you just said with Luke.
Or maybe it's the other thing. Maybe Luke is trying to stay passive, and Kylo wants to go fight or something like that. Yeah.
Yes. Or you could make up a brand new Jedi that he's training. Yeah. But Fuck. Or maybe the burning of the New Jedi Order temple is a retaliation from something that happened prior, that Luke made a decision and killed off someone, and it was a retaliation that Snoke was like, hey, we need to fucking put him in his place because they are clearly a threat.
So First Order is just lurking for 30 years, basically, building up power. You think they're in cahoots with Thrawn, or... Oh, this also, total side note, this also means that, Ezra is possibly coming to live action as well. Because he and Thrawn go through that fucking time portal together, I think.
Yeah.
Shit.
Wizard.
Totally wizard, dude.
Yeah. Like you said, it says something about this most recent episode that we can sit here and just theorize. The connections, man. I mean, that's where Star Wars... I know I've said, hey, why does everything need to connect? But fuck me. That's what Star Wars is. It's nice to be like, oh, when we're watching Boba Fett do his thing on Tatooine, that means this, and this with the Mandalorians, which could mean this, and this with Luke Skywalker, and you're like, fuck, here's so much shit.
Right.
Dude, if they don't do anything with Thrawn, and honestly, within the next, it has to be under 5 years.
Well, Ahsoka is coming out this year, right?
Oh, fuck.
Mando Season 3, Kenobi.
Mando Season 3.
Andor. And Ahsoka?
Ahsoka.
I could have sworn it was Ahsoka this year.
I don't know.
I guess we'll have to find out at Star Wars Celebration.
But if that's what Ahsoka's story is about, specifically hunting down Thrawn, learning, that he was the one behind the bombing of Mandalore, she goes back out and says, hey, I met a Mandalorian once on this planet. I'm going to reach out to Din Djarin. And at that point, he's going to be wielding the fucking Darksaber, roaring on a mythosaur or on a fucking... Dude, it's all coming together.
Boba's on a Rancor.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Man. So much they could do.
Yep.
All right. That was fun, man. That was good. I got to go watch it again. I was going to the other day, but baby was being psycho, and I just had to put it down. But I do want to watch it again, and then
I thought you meant you had to put the baby down. We had to.
She wouldn't shut up, dude.
You had to put her down.
Had to put her down. Gotta watch Star Wars, man. What are you gonna do?
Hey, decisions were made. So.
Man. It's decisions were made. You can't judge me. You gotta watch Star
We
Wars.
didn't even mention the little quip that they threw in that Jurassic Park head nod, where the mechanic was getting pulled behind those boxes.
Yeah. Yep. That was nice.
Shoot her! I was like, oh, you sneaky. That one felt a little forced, but I was still fine with it.
I actually didn't even catch it, but yeah, nice. I can dig it.
All right.
Oh, we didn't talk about the the X-wing cops, the New Republic officers.
Yep.
So that one dude was obviously in Mando, so he came back. Is there any?
They were both in Mando from a certain point of view.
Oh, true. Yeah, the one guy was the body double for Luke.
Yep.
For Mark Hamill. Mark. So, is it weird to you at all that the New Republic is obviously there because they pulled over Din Djarin for going too fast by a cruiser, but there's also crime lords and mayors and governors and the Pike Syndicate on Tatooine? Like, are they doing anything about it, or are they ignoring it, or? Well,
I wonder. It might be that balance of we're not strong enough to do anything. We're around and we're listening, but if we get involved and try to stop the Pikes, we are just going to fucking run right into the wall because what we don't know already.
But don't you think the crime syndicate was shut if they were trying to just police the air traffic above Tatooine? Don't you think the Pikes would just shut that shit down? That does give me a little thread to figure out in the next 2 episodes.
Hey, what if
the New Republic steps in?
What if the spice running is being used for Bacta?
Right.
What if this is actually rebellion or resistance operation?
What if it's sanctioned by the New Republic? Yeah.
Exactly. Because I know we all say spice and it's probably negative. It's going to be used for drugs, but they did sprinkle that into the end of Bad Batch where it can be used for Bacta.
Right.
I fucking love it. Now we're at odds. Boba Fett's at odds with the Resistance.
I
fucking love it. No, you're right. I do feel like it's oddly placed. Like there's X-wings and they're policing. First of all,
maybe they don't get involved in the planet. Maybe they're just
but still
worrying about hyperspace travel and coming to and from planets. But they just let the citizens of the planet do whatever they want.
Oh yeah, why would you land? They don't even have water. Let's stay up here.
Apparently, they have a bunch of water. I actually rewatched the chase scene just to make sure I hated it as much as I did, and they knock over a giant fucking water tower. She goes under the scaffolding and knocks over a huge water tower.
That's what you're worried about.
That's what I was worried about. I had to go back and make sure to check it.
Look at all that water.
Look at all that water.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Did you enjoy the Succession season 2 finale?
I did. I truly did. It was that's what I was waiting for.
Fucking awesome.
And it was perfect, and it was beautiful, and it was brutal, but the dad was happy all at the same time. You saw
that look he gives at the end. It's like, you little shithead, also I'm proud of you.
Exactly. And it was just beautifully done. It was beautifully done. I love it.
Now imagine you see that and have to wait 2 years for the next episode.
True.
Because that's what we suffered through. So I'm happy that you get to jump right into season 3.
Yeah, we'll probably start it tonight. So we'll jump into the first episode there.
We started this new show. Came out on HBO last week. It's called The Gilded Age. It's by the creators of Downton Abbey, but it takes place in 1890s New York City. So it's new money coming up with business and railroads and shit, and old money trying to keep them out of society and everything. It's cool. I like it. I'm a sucker for a good period piece, old 1880s and 1890s architecture in New York City and stuff. It's pretty dope.
Yeah. No, I agree. I
always wonder when I let that sit because I don't know where you're gonna take it. It's
No, my
Good Day Galaxy.
I was about to put on my historical hat because that's like the era that I studied when in college because I was a history major. If you guys didn't know that, but it was
You went to
like
college?
modern America. So it was basically like Industrial Revolution
Yeah.
forward, but like just pre like railroads,
Right.
1880s, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a cool little period in time before they started being able to like put regulations on business, and there's just so much money.
Straight fucking savages. I've read books on like Carnegie and all those guys.
Oh yeah,
Just brutal, intelligent savages that just.
Yep.
I forget what the and we'll end. I'm sorry guys, but the there was I think it was like Carnegie. They said with his net worth and you turn it into today's with inflation, they said no one's even fucking close. It's laughable.
Right. Even Bezos and Musk and everyone else, like
close.
not even close. Yeah.
Between him and Rockefeller, they owned like 80% of the world. It was like at one point.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
it's fucking insane. So they haven't gotten too crazy into the business stuff yet. I'm hoping they will. It's more like societal stuff, but I love that period of time, dude.
Yeah, a lot of stuff can pop off, and they could get away with a lot of stuff because there was no, like you said, no regulation. So
still, the fucking Wild West is out there. Literally.
Really.
So, all right, TV journeys for the Rogue Squadron.
Hello, thank you guys. We appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. Hopefully, the next episode is just as jazzed, guys. Because guess what? We got 2 more episodes of the Book of Din Djarin.
I really don't want to take 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. Or should I say that the other way? So let's keep it up. I don't know who's directing the last 2. I think you mentioned that Fennec Shand, the actress that plays Fennec Shand, said the last 3 episodes are fucking killer. So,
dude, whatever Bryce Dallas Jones is doing, I don't fucking care. Give her everything.
Give her everything.
Give her it all. All of it.
Put her in charge, man. Put her in charge. Let's do it.
Cool.
All right, friends. No. I didn't have anything to say. I didn't have anything to add to it.
Retort. Cool.
Recording stopped.
Oh, Filoni is doing one. Matt said.
Oh, that's right. He's doing the next one. Good call, Matt. I knew I remembered that somehow.
I knew I remembered that somehow.
289. Save.
181.
343.
By the way, guys, we weren't able to do our music in the background, so I was able to. We were able to. I went to Spotify. All of our music's on there. You have to click on artists instead of podcasts. So just Rogue Squadron. If you guys just want to chill out to the tunes that we got.
And there's a link also in the show notes. If you go to last week's episode or the week before, there's a link there. It'll take you to the Spotify album. You can jam out, dude. Listen to it.
Put it on.
Put it on shuffle, man.
Cool.
Thanks for tuning in. Daco, Kigo, Witch Hunter, and Daryl. I saw you in there. Daryl, good to hear from you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Cool. I'm going to get this episode